Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Dropping into Happiness. I am
And
Rachel.
I'm Maggie. Hi, friends.
Welcome back. Thanks for coming back for another one.
Yay.
um, just in case anybody is like, who are these two crazy people? I highly recommend going back to episode 1. We give you a pretty in-depth of who we are, a little bit about our journey, because both Maggie and myself have lost over 100 pounds, but I am currently in maintenance, or what do you say? Protecting
Protecting your progress.
my progress?
Yes.
Yes, I'm protecting my progress currently. And Maggie is still on the weight loss train. So, but we are here to talk about our journey. So we talked a little bit in the last podcast about how we have both lost just over 100 pounds with WW. And this week, the topic we would like to talk about is life after losing 100 pounds. Don't worry, we will absolutely talk about many, many other topics along our journey and the things that we've done, because as we mentioned in our last podcast, guys, Maggie and I are not professionals in any way, shape, or form.
At least not in this industry.
Yeah, we are not professional chefs. We are not nutritionists. We are not personal trainers. So we did these amazing feats with WW, with each other, with these communities, and you can too. So we just want to say we are super average Joes who absolutely did what some people think is impossible without paying a ton of money for a ton of things, which not necessary.
Winning.
Hashtag winning. Okay, so when we talk about our journey, like I said, we both have lost just over 100 pounds. So Maggie, what do you think has changed in your life after losing 100 pounds? What's one of the significant things you think you've noticed?
Well, besides what might feel like the obvious in terms of just how I feel, how I carry myself in the world, how clothes fit, all of those things, I think it's very interesting in that the way people acknowledge your lifestyle change, right? So when I think about Facebook, and I only keep Facebook for like those family members that I don't get to see very often, or like folks from church, or just to say, hey, I'm still alive, everyone. And through you and I both, we lost our weight through the pandemic. It was interesting pre-pandemic, pre-WW journey. If I posted a picture, I wouldn't get a lot of comments about the way that I look, or anything like that. All of a sudden, I would start posting photos, maybe me holding my pumpkin that I decorated, or me in front of an amusement park ride. All of the comments would be, oh, wow, you look so good. Oh, wow, you look so skinny. Oh, wow, look at you, you're melting away. And it's just very interesting how the narrative shifts. It's exciting in some ways because you're thinking, wow, folks are noticing my progress. But at the same time, it kind of validates a lot of those insecurities that we may have had when we first started our journey. So that's kind of what I've noticed most recently.
That's funny that you say that. I don't know why I'm connecting it to like maybe even when women are pregnant, like how everybody feels like they can touch your belly, like when you're losing weight, everybody feels they can have a comment.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Your fur baby
Studios,
had some feelings about that.
I know. She was like, I don't want people saying anything to you. I know. Yeah. We had when was it? It was over the summer. A lot of my family hadn't seen me because, like you said, pandemic. So a lot of my family hadn't seen me for about a year and a half. And we had this huge family gathering. And my great aunt saw me for the first time after losing 100 pounds. And the first thing out of her mouth was like, because she calls me Ray, hey, half of Ray. And I was like, hey, because like, I mean, what do you say? Like, thank you. I mean, and it's funny because I do feel for people though. Like I've had so many people who want to compliment you, but then feel like they're also insulting you. And I've never ever felt that way. So I know some people might, but I've never felt that way. So if anybody ever is like, oh my gosh, you look so good, I am not taking that as you think I looked bad before. Mm-hmm. I don't take things that way. I know some people might take them the wrong way, but I don't. And it's funny because I've even told people, I'm like, dude, you can compliment me all you want because that was hard.
Yeah.
That was a lot of work. I put a lot of work into this. I put a lot of time and effort into this, into myself, into my wellness, into my health. So heck yeah. I'm excited that you see that and then you notice that and that you're seeing, because what I feel like you're complimenting is my dedication and my hard work. And I think that's why maybe I'm not offended when people are like, oh my gosh, you look so good. I'm like, thank you. At that, I did that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very proud of doing that.
I think it is exciting when others acknowledge our progress for sure, and just kind of like showing up. But I think it's interesting because they have no idea everything that you've transformed internally too, right? To get to the point, they just see like, oh, all of a sudden, Rachel, 100 pounds less, magic. And you're thinking, if only you knew, like, it's how I feel nowadays when I'm out on a run and someone's like, keep it up. And I'm just like, if only you knew.
You have no idea.
They're like, wow, you should be so proud. I'm like, you just kind of have to like realize that all folks mean well. Usually it's like coming from a place of good intention, and you just kind of have to chuckle it off and say, thank you so much, and keep it moving.
I know. So before the pandemic, I worked at a radio station, and a lot of things happened during the pandemic, and we got to a point where nobody was advertising. So you couldn't afford to pay all the employees. So a good amount of us was let go. I am currently back at the station now. Things are doing better. California is opening up. And I went back without seeing, obviously, a lot of people in a very long time. And one of my coworkers was like, I just can't believe how good you look. And she said that to me like 3 times. And like every time she'd go, I'm really sorry. And I'm like trying to console her. Like it's kind of funny, but it is what it is.
I definitely think the comments from others is one thing that I've noticed, but there's also just some day-to-day life things. Like you mentioned in the last podcast, if y'all didn't listen, go take a listen so you can get some bigger context. But even just bending over and tying the shoe without it being an event. I used to sweat getting ready for the day. Literally would get hot, would have to put a dryer in front of my face to like cool off my sweat before I could go forth about my day.
I would have extra fans. Yeah, when I was doing
just like getting ready.
I feel you. I would get winded tying my shoe. Like, or if it was like a strappy thing, I'd have to come up and be like and then like go back to it. And you know what's wild is it had gotten so normal. I didn't realize how much I disliked it until I didn't have it anymore. And then I was like, wow, that's way easier.
Yeah, crossing our legs.
Yeah.
Crossing.
Yeah, just sit back and
just
put your leg up.
sitting and crossing, like y'all can't see unless you're watching, but just sitting with my legs crossed. I could not do. It was like an event. If I wanted to cross my leg, I had to pick my leg up, hike it, over the knee, and then I even couldn't cross it all the way. So just like little things like that where you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Take it for granted.
My husband calls me a hippie because I love to sit on the floor. I always have. I enjoy sitting on the floor. If we're in the living room, I would prefer to sit like on the floor in front of the couch.
Yeah, I like to do that too by the coffee table. Yeah.
Yes, but like I couldn't pull my legs up. Like I'd have to like lean back. I couldn't like sit with my legs into my chest, and I can sit and like wrap my arms around my legs now. And that just like every time I do it, it weirds me out how easy it is for us to do that and how comfortable at the same time.
Yeah.
But like, so one of the weird things though, a weird one that I noticed, my shoes got bigger. My foot didn't get like not as long, but you don't think about losing weight in your feet. And my shoes got like floppy, and I had to like tighten all my shoes.
We had talked about this before, Rachel and I had, and I couldn't really relate. But since we've had that conversation, I had pulled out some fancy shoes. I had a concert that I wanted to wear my fancy shoes and like heels, and both pairs of heels that I tried on, I ended up wearing a pair, and it was a mistake. They were too big. They were slipping. I couldn't walk. And I'm like, I know how to walk in heels, but they just weren't fitting my foot the same way. And I was like, I have to sell these shoes. And I was a little sad about it because I like the shoes. But it's true. You do lose weight in your feet. You can't control where you lose weight, but you will lose weight in places that you wouldn't necessarily expect. So
I mean, if you think about it, like I've had my wedding ring, it just slips on and off now, and I've already had it
Mm.
sized, and I have to do it
Oh,
again.
wow.
Like, I mean, think about that. You lose it in your hands and your fingers, so why wouldn't you lose it in your
Hmm.
feet? But like, you don't really think
Yeah,
about it.
for those that don't know,
It's such a
yeah,
weird
for those
one.
that don't know, my mom is also on the WW journey and she's lost almost 120 pounds and counting.
Wow.
And her and I were just talking on the phone the other day. We used to feel a lot of pressure about the type of seats, whether that was at restaurants, waiting rooms for like the doctor, or
Oh
just
yeah.
really anywhere, theaters, like performances, what kind of seats are there going to be? And my mom was just celebrating her non-skill victory, a doctor that she's seen consistently throughout her journey. You know, at the very beginning, she had to worry about she couldn't really fit in the chairs. And now she says, I just sit in with ease and it's no problem. I used to like avoid bar stools when I was out because they were just uncomfortable. I didn't want to have to hike myself up
Yeah.
there. The seats were usually smaller, you know, and I would
Yeah.
intentionally be like, I don't want to sit at a high top because I just don't feel comfortable. And it's just like little things like that we don't have to think about so much anymore.
And it's not even that the seat itself, like my back would hurt really bad. Like if I had no back support, I couldn't sit in a chair like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And I love them now. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah, or
sit in
like
there. Yeah.
booths. I love a booth moment. Just
Yeah.
scooting in,
Oh, right.
scooting
Sliding
out.
in.
It's still not
I
100%
know.
graceful, y'all, but
Yeah.
I still have about 45 pounds to go, so I can't even imagine what life will be like
Yeah.
at that point, you know, just
Yeah.
because things are already so awesome. Sometimes I feel like I'm already at goal and I'm not at goal, but I feel because my life has been so significantly impacted by the health changes I've made, I'm just like,
Yeah.
blah, you know, it just feels good.
No, so at the radio station that I work at, we're in the upstairs, and this is a very, very old building. And because before California had like state regulations that you have to have an elevator, so our building doesn't have an
Hmm.
elevator, so you have to go up the stairs. And in the past, if I'd be on my lunch and I'd call my mom or whatever, and I'd be going back to work, she would go. Oh, you're back at work, aren't you? I'm like, how'd you know that? She's like, you're huffing pretty hard right now. Because like just going up the stairs, I'd be like,
Yeah.
and like now I can talk to her and like kind of bloop 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 like trot up them, and I'd be like, okay, well I gotta go to my desk now. And she was, you're there? You're like at your desk? I'm like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
upstairs. Like it's just it's wild. And even the other day, I had like I was so excited. So because of that, like I said, I used to just walk up those stairs winded. We had this situation where I had to keep going up and down the stairs to go get something, and I jogged up the stairs 3 different times that morning, and I was like telling other people, I'm like, did you see that? Did you
Nah,
see what I did
yeah,
there?
yeah.
I just ran up those
Yes,
stairs.
you did.
Nobody else was excited as I was. But I feel we always need to celebrate those non-scale victories. We always need to celebrate the little things. Because I mean the number on the scale is awesome. I've always been very happy that the number on the scale went down. But that number on the scale doesn't like directly impact my life. Going up the stairs at work, that impacts my life. Being able to not be winded putting on my shoes, that directly impacts my life. So yes, the number on the scale is awesome going down, but these other things are the things that I love to celebrate, is all of these other things. Was there something that you felt like you couldn't do before and you do now?
Mm.
Because you were pretty like body positive then, huh? Like I can do tough
Yes,
things.
I was almost on a mission because I had been overweight my entire life. I mean, by the time I was 13, I was 200 pounds. By the time I was 16, I was 250. And for the next decade, I fluctuated anywhere between 250 and 300 pounds. I felt like that was just my path in life. I thought that was my mission, was just to prove to everyone that people who are overweight can still do awesome things, can still accomplish greatness, and I still believe that. And I think part of why my WW journey has been so successful is because it was really birthed out of a place of love and just wanting to live my full life and not be held back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was I felt like that was my mission. And then my narrative started to shift and I've been thinking, no, I can prove to people that we can live a healthy lifestyle and have balanced food choices and all that stuff. So I'm really trying to think overall, I mean, things are just easier now. Things that I love doing, like
Yeah.
running, I just ran a 23-mile run yesterday. I feel
I saw
amazing
that.
today. I mean, of course, I don't feel like I want to go run another 23 miles right now, but
Yeah.
I felt so good afterwards. I was still smiling, and I feel great today. I've still gotten in my steps. And I think the recovery time for my running is just so much more efficient. And like I ran the 20 miler I did a couple weeks ago. I did it a full hour faster than I had a previous 20-mile run that I had done
Wow.
before I started WW. So
That's
yeah, I
amazing.
think it's just the efficiency is
Right?
there.
I mean, like you said, things are just easier. Like
Shopping.
I felt like, well, like going to amusement
Mhm.
parks. I love going to and I love going with my family to amusement parks, but I would secretly dread it
Mhm.
constantly because I knew just walking from the hotel
Right,
to
I
the
that
park, my feet
activity.
would
Yeah.
hurt. My back would hurt. I was constantly looking for a seat and I'd be like, guys, can I just sit down for a sec? And I would feel so bad making everybody wait for me. Or I'd be like, well, you guys go and I'll save us a
Mhm.
table, you know, because I didn't want to stand in line the whole time. And now I'm like, you guys want to go to the other
Yeah,
side? Like,
yeah. Like I cover some serious steps at theme parks now without even thinking twice
yes.
about it and then not having to pay for it the next several days after the fact. So
Yeah.
definitely resonate with
I
that.
mean, even going to the grocery store, like I'll park way in the back, and my husband and daughter will be like, way back here. And I'm like, this is not a far walk, you guys. Let's go.
I just the zest for life is there.
Yeah. I mean, everything from like my clothes. And it's funny because I still don't see myself as losing 100 pounds. Like, I'll still hold up my pants and be like, there's no way these are going to fit me. Like, I don't see that fitting my
Mhm.
body. I have this girlfriend who has an online boutique, and she lives in Texas, and I'm in California. And I used to always order XL to 2XL because I'd always be a little iffy with it. And now I order smalls. And every time I order a small, I have this twinge of like, oh, that's not going to
Mhm.
fit. And then it gets here, and I take it out, and I'm like, that's not going to fit. And then I put it on. I'm like, huh, what do you know? That totally
Yeah.
fits. I still don't see
Yeah, I'm
it.
still buying the wrong sizes, like very often. And my partner Seth will just be like, "Really? Did you really purchase that jumpsuit in extra large?" He'll like pull on it and be like, "Look at
Yeah.
all this extra fabric." And I'm like, "I don't know, because women's sizes are so weird." I try to justify it. And he's like,
Yeah.
"No, you don't need to buy anything with that in the tag anymore." And I think it
Oh,
just takes time for our minds to kind of catch up because we both did it in a relatively quick time period and
if you think about it,
in a time
yeah.
period when we
Yeah.
weren't going out and doing stuff and seeing lots of different people and so we can catch ourselves off guard, let alone the other people. Yeah.
I know. So recently I had another NSV. And for those that don't know what that means, that's a non-scale victory. In the past, when I get boots, holiday season and winter, I'd always have to get the wide calf because I wouldn't be able to zip them
Mm,
up. And I went to go get some boots the other day, and I even told my mom, I was like, I didn't even have to get the wide calf one, and it's still a little loose. I was all
yeah. That's
excited.
something that I have a hair in my mouth. I'm
Yes.
definitely just real talk for anybody watching me do that. Um, I'm looking forward to that because right now I'm still in between. I don't quite
Yeah.
need the wide calf, but I'm not quite ready for the not wide calf. So that's one I'm still looking forward to.
Yes. I love it. Well, guys, we could go. I kid you not. Like, it's funny when we start talking about these topics, like, we could go on and on
Yeah,
and on and on, but we're not going to take up your whole day.
we'll
So,
have a whole
I believe it is
series.
time.
There's
I
so many to look
know.
forward to.
And if you are on social media in any way, shape, or form, please follow us on Instagram. We'll do little teasers of kind of what topics we're going to be talking about. And I don't know about Maggie, but I think she'll be down for this, guys. But especially talking about us being 100 pounds lighter, I'm down to post a side by side if you are. We'll post that on the Instagram this week.
Yes,
So
let's do it.
kind of it's funny because I'm getting so used now to seeing myself this way. When I look at older pictures, it's like, wow. I don't even realize that sometimes I still have to do that. I had a member say that yesterday. She's like, I re-inspired myself. And I feel like sometimes we need to do that. We need to look at our side by side. Isn't that
I love
beautiful?
that.
When she said that, I was like, oh my gosh. So, we are to that point in our podcast where we talk about our star goals and our recommendation for the week. So my star goal is something that is specific, truly doable, has an action, and it's relevant. Especially going into 2022, guys, I really want to bring meditation more into my life. I know we didn't even talk about this today, and it's kind of out of left field, but one of the pillars of WW is a mindset, is our mindful, and I want to be more in the moment. I want to stop and smell the roses, and I want to be able to take that time, whether it's daily, whether it's, a few times a week, to just truly be in the moment, find that peace, find that mindset. And so that's something I'm going to really start getting into. If you are a WW member, we actually have a lot of meditation like on the app, which I'm absolutely going to utilize, like, starting with those because they're guided and I need to be guided a little bit. But that's also my recommendation this week is meditation, because so many studies have been done on meditation and how it can absolutely reframe your mind. So when it comes to your journey, your mindset plays such a huge role in that I just really, really think meditation could be helpful. So that is my star goal and my recommendation for the week.
Yes,
Miss Maggie?
So for my star goal, y'all know, if you've been listening or if you know me outside of the podcast realm, that honest tracking is really important to me. We've gotten through the holiday season, so at this point, I'm really looking at getting my blue dots. I'm going to shoot for 3 blue dots. For those that don't know, that's a WW thing for a healthy eating range. So I'm staying within a specific points range. That's the star goal, 3 blue dots. And then my recommendation, staying in the mindset pillar that Rachel was mentioning, is a book called The Shift. Looks like a product placement.
Yes.
It's not. I just genuinely love the book. 7 Powerful Mindset Changes for Lasting Weight Loss. It's by Dr. Gary Foster, who's the Chief Scientific Officer at WW. And it's not a book about what you should eat or how you should work out or anything like that. It's those behavioral change moments that what makes the journey long-lasting, impactful, sustainable. So if you need some extra love in the mindset pillar and you want to try out some meditation or read the book, it's also available on audiobook as well. So The Shift.
I actually have it on audiobook and the book. There is one line in that book that has always stuck out to me, and I love it so much. And he says, you can't count your character in M&Ms.
Yes, I love that one. And it hits close to home because I love peanut M&Ms. And another one, which I could like spend a whole podcast just talking about nuggets of wisdom in The Shift and in workshops, because like it's just so great. But thoughts are not always facts. Mic drop. Yep.
I know, right? We should start. We'll post some of these in the Instagram too. That's a really good one. We should start doing some of the quotes from The Shift. So just in case anybody wants to get a little more into that. But okay, guys, our time is up for this week. So please like and subscribe. Tell your friends all about it. Come see us again next week, and we will see you later.
Yeah. Have a magical day. Bye.